Toronto Humane Society. Toronto police and agents from the Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals raided the shelter yesterday. Dan Halton's been telling us about the dramatic moves, and among those arrested, the Society's president and chief veterinarian. We want to get an update now this morning from Rosalind Ryan in Toronto. She's a spokesperson with the OSPCA, the provincial agency. Ms. Ryan, thank you very much for being our guest this morning. Overnight, we know that there was a team of veterinarians at work inside the Toronto Humane Society with the animals still there. Can you tell us what they have been doing overnight?
The veterinarians overnight, along with the OSPCA investigators, have been assessing the condition of many of the animals and prioritizing their medical treatment.
And what have they found in terms of the condition of the animals?
I think they found some of the things we expected they would find. Some of the animals without water, without food, some of them not receiving enough medical attention, and they are attending to that right away.
Have they had to euthanize any of the animals overnight, Ms. Ryan?
I think there were a couple that had to be because they were completely unwell.
Okay, so we'll watch for that overall. And I know this is a process that's going to continue. The Toronto Humane Society closed until at least Tuesday. Going back to yesterday's events, first of all, one of your agency, one of those involved in the raid. And again, can you give me a sense of what happened, what you found in the course of the raid yesterday?
I wasn't actually present inside the building at the raid, but I know that we found animals in distress, animals without water, animals without food, that the veterinarians went to work right away along with the investigators, as I had said earlier, to prioritize and to assess the condition of those animals and to make sure that they were treated appropriately.
Okay. The whole question of treatment and when to euthanize, that seems to be at the heart of this issue this time, the euthanasia policy of the Toronto Humane Society. It's very adamant that it does not wish to euthanize animals. How would the practices and the protocols, the policies of the Ontario, the OSPCA, how would they be different?
We would be assessing animals, well, veterinarians would be. They have the decision-making capability at the Ontario SPCA, and to some degree at the THS that's been different. Management has made the decision. Veterinarians haven't often had the ability to make that decision, which they will now going forward.
So management has been deciding not to euthanize in cases where you consider it would have been appropriate. Is that correct?
Well, not where I would consider,
no,
but
sorry,
where veterinarians,
yes.
Where veterinarians or veterinarian professionals, doctors would consider it best. They would be deeming what treatment animals needed, not management.
We've heard from volunteers to the Toronto Humane Society. We heard from the president, now charged last night as he left police division. No cruelty occurs, nobody does anything but try as hard as they can to help the animals. Those are the kind of quotes that you hear from Toronto Humane Society people. Is it possible that this is a case of a different practice, a different approach, a different philosophy?
I don't think that is the case. I would agree that there are many THS, Toronto Humane Society staffers and volunteers who do excellent work, and this was only attributed to a few who were arrested yesterday.
So what's next, Ms. Ryan?
Well, the investigation is ongoing, and as you said earlier, Heather, our agents are in the building. They have been all night along with vets, and they will continue that investigation today. We, the Ontario SPCA and the Toronto Humane Society staff, will continue to work and make sure that the animals are cared for throughout the day and actually throughout the coming days.
Ms. Ryan, thank you very much for this morning.
Thank you, Heather.